Patanjali Mudra. Yogena chittasya padena vacham malam sharirasya cha vaidyakena yopakarotam pravaram muninam patanjalim pranjaliranatosmi. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Right. Good afternoon. Good evening, everybody. It's not good afternoon anymore. Good. So we will get started with the today's session. So we were discussing the chapter 2 of Patanjali Yoga Sutra. So chapter 2 is basically it's a self-guide where Patanjali tells you what exactly the ways in which how you should find your own weaknesses, and then from there how to basically self-develop it, right? So which is very important. So in the first chapter, Patanjali is very strict about what is yoga and basically how to what are the concepts of yoga, what you can achieve with yoga, what is the final destination of yoga, and where it does operate, which is the mind field, and then how this mind field can be aided with other organs in the body. So all this type of knowledge is what is given in the first chapter, right? So the second chapter, Patanjali is very keen about his Raja Yoga approach, which means the 8-limbed yoga, right? So in yoga, we have around 8 steps, not around exactly 8 steps. In Patanjali's Yoga Sutra, Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi, right? The Samadhi is also a state, right? Samadhi is a state. So the moksha or the nirvana is you don't even feel that you are in Samadhi. If you feel that I am in Samadhi, there is a particular situation as Samadhi, so you are attached to that. But when you go beyond that, when you even go beyond that, then there's not even a thing called Samadhi. So you are in the moksha or the nirvana. So these are not easy things to do, right? So, it's very important that we understand these concepts very well, right? So we talked about yama, we talked about niyama. I'm pretty sure if I ask you, you know what are the 5 yama, what are the 5 niyama, what is an asana. So there were 3 sutra about asana. What is an asana? Is a stiram sukham asana, right? And then we talked about pranayama. So we just touched upon pranayama. So there Patanjali made a very good distinguishing. So he said, for you to do pranayama, make sure that you do the asana, that you master the asana. So he made it very clear, right? So he making it very clear, there has to be some reason behind that, right? So that is very important. Then we are moving into Pratyahara today, right? So let me share my screen to start off with where we stopped. Right. So, great. So, in the 49th sutra, he says, Tasmin satiswasa prashvashayo gati vichedaha pranayamaha. Meaning, what is gati vichedaha is, gati is the movement, vichedaka is cessation, right? So pranayama is the regulation of the incoming, outgoing flow of breath with retention. It is to be practiced only after perfection in the asana is attained, right? Why? Because pranayama is basically so you are going to now play with the, you're going to play with the, your prana vayu, which is something that you take inside, right? For you to do that, first of all, you have to make sure that the temple is strong enough. What is the temple? Temple is this body, right? So when the body is strong enough, when the body does not challenge you, or when the body does not become a limitation to your own self, only you should attempt to do pranayama. Otherwise, all these different ailments in this joint, this problem, that problem, all of it will basically bring your attention to somewhere else. You should master to a level that this body doesn't become a problem to you at all, right? So that's very important. So then Patanjali says, then only you should do the pranayama. So what is pranayama? So what is this big difference between what we do right now and this whole concept of pranayama, right? So right now we inhale, right now we exhale, right now sometimes we retain the breath, like when we are like swimming, right? So what is the difference between that and pranayama, right? So pranayama, prana is the prana vayu, right? So yes, we inhale, yes, we exhale, yes, sometimes we retain, but are we inhaling properly right now? Are we exhaling properly right now, right? So if I ask you, okay, now take a deep breath. So from this current moment of breath to a deep breath, if there is a difference, that means currently we are not breathing properly, isn't it? Right? So right now, if I tell you take a deep breath, then you take a deep breath like 3 times the normal of your breath. And then you deeply exhale. Then you will exhale like 3 times the exhalation that you do. Otherwise, you just inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. You don't even know about it. So this particular practice you have to do first of all with attention, right? So first of all, you should inhale, retain, exhale, retain. Inhale, retain, exhale, retain. So this you should practice with the focus of your mind. This is what you call as sabija pranayama, right? So this is what you call as sabija pranayama, meaning with attention to it, right? Then, so that we will talk in the next sutra, right? So pranayama has 3 movements: prolonged and fine inhalation, exhalation and retention, all regulated with precision according to duration and practice, right? So in pranayama, we practice. Initially, we inhale, we just inhale. We just try to learn how to inhale and exhale, right? So then what we do is we will inhale, let's say we will inhale to like 9 counts. So when you inhale to like 9 seconds, you feel uncomfortable, right? Which means we cannot. So we are taking the pranavayu in, but that whole process itself is very hard for you, which should not be the case, right? Let's say you are given a nice, sweetest ice cream in the world. Eating that should not be harder, right? Eating that should not take you through a very agonizing journey, because it's the sweetest ice cream. It's just a matter of eating the whole thing, right? But something like that. So prana vayu also, if we are not utilizing the whole prana vayu, whole our capacity to take the prana vayu in, right? Which means now we have something to work on. So Patanjali says that can be achieved. You better do your asanas right, right? You better make sure that your lungs have the capacity, that your body have the ability to stay in one position, that you have the ability to keep your spine straight. Spine needs not, having all these ailments, right? So when that is there, you do the prolonged and fine inhalation. So yogis should be able to inhale for like 27 seconds, right? 27 seconds, throughout 27 seconds, you should be able to inhale, right? So inhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Likewise, you should be able to inhale like that. Shall we try and see how much you can inhale? Right. So everybody keep the hand like this. People who are in off mode, you better switch on the camera, right? So otherwise it's just device to device talking, right? So keep your hand like this, keep the body straight, and sit whatever the place that you are seated in a very comfortable way. And don't try to, hunch back, fall to the walls, nothing. So now, while inhalation, you should count 1, 2, 3, no, from the fingers. Now, after like 3 of these goes, if you feel like, oh, I don't know how many went, that's a different problem, right? Keep the count well, okay? How many 5s went? It can't be like that, okay? So let's try to count, okay? So start inhalation and prolong. So in the same speed, you keep on inhaling, and it can be a very slow speed. Start. Exhale. How is the situation? Right? 5 counts, 10 counts, 15 counts, 2 counts, 3 counts. So it can be like that. But that is where you need to improve this, right? So sometimes having a clock inside your room which gives the sound of the seconds, right? That is important. Otherwise, you make your own seconds, which are shorter than normal seconds, right? So keep on practicing like so. When you inhale like this, you get a different feeling rather than your normal inhalation, right? You get a feeling like, even in the throat region, even at the neck region, there is a change happening, right? So try to inhale further, 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 further. You can inhale a lot than you inhale right now, right? So what you need to do is you should practice it. Start with like a 5, right? You inhale 5, exhale 5. Then make it a 7. Inhale 7, exhale 7. Inhale 9, exhale 9. 12, 15, 17. Again, this you can't do it in one day. When we learn pranayama, we practice it for a long time. And the best time to practice this is early in the morning, right? So you learn to inhale fully, exhale fully. It's the prana vayu, nothing else. It's your life's fuel, right? Get it properly. It's free of charge. The price of that is not increasing day by day. Don't worry, right? You don't have to stay in a queue to get it. It's already there. So inhale properly. And if you want better air, high quality air, wake up at 4:30 a.m. in the morning. Go outside, inhale, exhale. After rain, go outside, inhale, exhale, right? So these are very important things. So when you do that, what happens is, now why should we focus on this inhalation and exhalation? Where we come to the 4th stage. So bahya, abhyantara, vishaya, akshep, chaturtha, meaning the 4th type of pranayama, right, which is chaturtha, is 4th, transcends the external and internal pranayamas and appears effortless and non-deliberate. So you should be able to, without an effort, now when you inhale for like 20, right, you feel like, losing the breath, and inhale further and the whole body strength is put on that. No, Should be able to inhale 27 in a position without an effort, right? And it is not deliberate. These things are easy to tell. Effort is something, effortless is something, right? Doing something effortless takes a lot of effort itself for you to practice. You have to put a lot of effort to do a Padmasana without an effort, right? So, and non-deliberate, right? You should not push it. Let it go, just let it go for like 27 and let it come down, right? So that is the fourth stage of pranayama. So then Patanjali says, the pranayama tata kshiyate prakasha avaranam, right? What is avaranam? Avarana is a cover, right? So prakasha is light, and then kshiyate is destroyed, right? Pranayama uncovers the veil covering the light of knowledge and heralds the dawn of wisdom. Let me explain this to you in a scientific way. Do you believe that when we provide more oxygen to our brain will start to function well? Right? When you don't give oxygen, what happens is, now for an example, you go to a hospital, so a person's blood circulation or heart stops for 5 seconds can kill a huge part in the brain itself. Right? I know an example where around 8-year-old child, her heart stopped for 10 seconds, and then she lost the language, she lost the ability to talk, and she lost the ability to even see. Her eyes were closed after that. After 5 years or 6 years of Ayurvedic medicine, she was able to see, and that sight was also around 50%. Handwriting was very beautiful, then the handwriting has to be regained again. So 10 seconds of breath stopping or heart stopping, the pumping of blood stops, then oxygen doesn't go to your brain, right? When this stops, or if it is irregular, if it is not happening properly, we have enough and more evidence, right, that your brain or your whole system will collapse. So number one is, with your asana practices, your physical system is perfected. Then with pranayama, you need to fuel it up and give the best fuel and make sure that the functionalities of the body is perfected, right? Brought up to the speed. Okay, so that is extremely, extremely important, right? So that is a physical benefit. Then when your mind, when your brain works properly, if you are living in this yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, so you do the pranayama also with awareness, and then you come to a stage where pranayama can be done without an effort, without a problem, you have complete control over your breath, right? When that stage is there, of course, Patanjali says, then it unveils the covers of wisdom, right? So even before we do a yoga session, every day we inhale and exhale for some time. We do a dirgha swasa for some time. So there you feel that, you got like a break, right? From your whole life, whatever happening around you, with a deep inhalation and exhalation, you get a break. You get a silent moment, right? What are you actually getting is, you are just not letting all the sensual inputs to your mind. You are not listening. You are not seeing anything. Eyes are closed. You're only focusing on the breath. Inhale, exhale, right? So there you get kind of like a break, a calmness in your mind. So this calmness has to be prolonged. This calmness has to continue. This calmness has to be 24/7, right? So this calmness should not be affected by anything. For that, your body has to function very well. So for that, pranayama helps you internally. Agreed? Feels like making sense? Yeah? Then Patanjali says with the 53rd sutra, dharanasu cha yogyata manasaha. The mind also becomes fit for concentration. So when the breath is fit, when the breath is prolonged, when the breath is effortless, right? Then the next step is the mind also becomes fit for concentration, right? That's where people say for students who study for exams, meditate, do anapanasati meditation, right? Why you do meditation? Because then you focusing on your breath and you keep inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Not only inhalation and exhalation, when it comes to pranayama, we inhale to the maximum, exhale to the maximum, and we retain that energy inside. Either inhale and retain or exhale and retain, right? So when you master this, of course, your mind concentration will be higher, right? Then Patanjali says with the 54th sutra, Swa Vishaya Asamprajna Yoge Chittasya Swaruphanukaraha Iva Indriyanam Pratyaharaha. So, what is Pratyahara? Now, Patanjali explained the 4 concepts. Now we are going to the 5th one, right? With the 5th one, chapter 2 ends, right? And then once the chapter 2 ends, there's one line I have to tell you. Then you feel like, all this while we learned this and it still feels like not enough, right? So, Swa is their own. Vishaya is objects, right? Asamprajna yogi, not coming in contact with, right? Chittasya, thinking faculty. Swarupa, a form, right? Anukaraha, imitating all these. Indriya is your senses. Pratyahara, drawing towards opposites. So that's fine. So pratya or aharaha is what is meant as pratyaharaha, which is the 5th limb of yoga. Yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyaharaha. Prat is basically going against. Prati is opposite, right? Aharaha is food, right? So prat aharaha, pratyaharaha. So it's a combined word in Sanskrit. We put another letter, prat aharaha, pratyaharaha. Okay. So now what is going opposite? What is ahara? Ahara is not only the physical food that we eat. It's not only a guava, right? Ahara can be, now I know what you think. Oh, he's having even a guava, right? Now the mind starts working, right? But you didn't eat, but you feel the taste, right? So that whole combined thing is what you call as ahara, meaning what you see from your eyesight, from your eyes, what you get is the ahara to the eyes. When a beautiful person walks by, your whole day feels like better because you got your ahara through your eyes and mind did the rest of the work, right? And then what you hear, when a person sings a nice song, you feel good. Sometimes just think about this, right? 80% of the songs, what you hear, you don't even know the meaning, right? Even your own language, your own day-to-day language. If I ask, okay, Varuni, what's the favorite song? Varuni will say, this is the favorite. Then I ask, okay, do you know the meaning of it? She might not know, right? I might not know. Lot of songs, especially English songs and all, if you pay attention to these whole raps and everything, you can't even sing it in front of a baby, right? So what you hear, your hearing is another sensual input. So that is the ahara through the ears. Then the smell. Now this whole guava, right? It's here, I smell it, right? And I feel good. And I feel like soon after this class, I have some work to do, right? That is to eat the guava, right? So the smell that you get, bad smell, good smell, that categorization we make from the buddhi faculty, right? So that is the ahara to the nose and then to the skin, right? Why do we hug people? Why do we hold hands? Why do we touch somebody's face? Maybe a child on the head, maybe a dog. All these things we use the skin, right, to get the ahara through the skin. That is again a sensual input. Then we eat this. Ah, very tasty. Next day morning, the taste is not there, right? Then what? With all of those things, the mind faculty which is inside will process, and that level of processing can go to any level, right? Good processing, bad processing, criticism, vitarka, vichara, all these things will come, right? So all these are sensual inputs. So Patanjali says these ahara are there here. Ahara is there. Go against ahara. Means pratyahara. Withdraw from your senses. Right? Withdrawing from your senses. My everyday example, a sage in the Himalayas, sitting down on the snow. Skin doesn't feel the snow. Why? Skin sense is withdrawn. People who are walking by saying, oh, you look at this, that person, this, that, and the other. Hearing is withdrawn. It doesn't mean that he's deaf, his cells are not working. No, it's withdrawn, right? And you don't see. So one can say, okay, this is the easiest one. We will just shut our eyes and then we will not see, right? But the moment you shut your eyes, mind start to go back to the storehouse of your memory and then bring stuff in, right? So then nose, let this go. When I'm meditating, let it go like this. No problem. Right? This is the best thing to do. Ask people in your house, when I'm meditating, when you see like, I'm like close to moksha, right? I'm like close to flying with my meditation. Bring a nice cake in front of me just to check, right? I know you trust me, but just check it, right? In technology and in financial accounting, we say there's a concept called to your colleagues. We trust you. Each employment works based on trust. If you don't trust, you don't work with them, right? So we trust you. But here and there, we check. We validate the trust, right? We trust you, but here and there, let's validate the trust. That's where the auditors come into the picture and mess up your life, right? And make the life very harder for you, right? So they ask questions, so you should be able to answer those questions, show the evidence. So likewise, when you are in your meditation, show the evidence. The auditor comes and see, okay, he says that he's all good in his pranayama meditation, calmness in the mind. He has withdrawn his senses. Well, let's just check it, right? So the auditor just need to do this, right? This is enough. You just bring the food around your nose and then immediately, now this is a red color inside guava, right? So immediately when the smell comes, you have even seen the inside of the guava, felt the taste, right? And a memory goes where you have the most, the remembered memory, right? The most sharp memory with this type of a guava, it goes, oh, I had it where? Then I had this drink, guava drink, and all those, right? But still, now the person may be seeing like seated in meditation. But what is happening inside now? He is not meditating. He is in a different world, right? He is going after a guava, right? So that's where you need to check it, right? So Patanjali says, first of all, yam niyam, behave right, do the right thing, behave, don't do these things, do these things. Your body has to be utilized in these things, right? Then he says, do asana, build a strong temple, right? Bring a strong temple. Then he says, now let's do the internal tuning up part of it. So you build a proper temple. If no wind is going inside the temple, what happens? The fungus will start to come. Then all the paintings, sculptures, and everything will start to decay, right? So that process, we need to make sure that we properly keep the prana vayu inside and take the toxins out, that the whole temple is energized, right? Then he says, now temple is ready, temple is energized, you have the ability to concentrate because you have mastered pranayama. Now, next step is withdrawal from the senses, right? Don't, so when you say sense withdrawal, one is the physical withdrawal of senses. So you don't get distracted from what you see. So when you see something, you just take it as what you saw. You don't build a thought thread throughout that what you see. If you hear something, just take it as a noise, happened, gone. Don't try to cling to it and keep on processing and get mad, either get happy, either get sad. If you get happy, remember one thing, you're going to end up with sadness. Any happiness in this world is going to end up in sadness, right? So if you feel sad, at least be happy that you have skipped one stage, right? So the sense withdrawal, the physical withdrawal of senses, is you are not getting disturbed with your whatever the inputs that you are getting out from your senses. That is one. That is the physical withdrawal of senses. Then there is number two. What is that? That is the mental withdrawal of the senses, right? Let's see how that works. So mental withdrawal of senses is, now let's say we do a practice like a Brahmari, where we close our eyes, we keep our hands here, we close our ears, and then we close our mouth also. Now senses are closed, only the skin is open, mind field is open. Right now I'm not eating anything. Then we inhale and exhale with the humming sound. That is a good practice to learn the sense withdrawal, Brahmari. Let's do that in an early morning one day, right? So that is one technique. So you should, just like that, we don't get affected with the physical or the sense organ inputs, we should also not get disturbed with the mind running, mind part of it, right? Then we should also not get disturbed by our action. And that is what you call as karma yoga. Now, for an example, you feel like so you walk on the street and then you feel like this person is poor, I should give some money. At the moment you felt like you should give some money, open your wallet, take some money and give the person, right? Don't come to the second thought of, I should give money to this person, but he may be earning like a lot of money from each person. How many people may be visiting? About 100. So if one person gives 20 bucks, so he's earning one day 2,000 rupees. My God, he's just wasting his money. He is not making a good life out of what he's earning through begging. So I should not give him money. So that thing should not happen. If you see a beggar, you feel like I should give money, or some thought come and say, you should give money, just give it and go. Now don't process it. Don't process it. Don't need to take a selfie with the beggar. Don't need to show the money giving to the beggar, take a selfie and post it in the social media. That should not be done, right? So you do an action because you do that action. That's it. There is no other reason for that, right? So if somebody asks, why you do this Patanjali yoga class? I do the Patanjali yoga class because I do the Patanjali yoga class. That's it, right? There's no such a thing called, okay, I do the Patanjali yoga class, so I bring a good network. So on a particular day, I will call them and then get some help because I have a good network, right? No, there is no such motives. Right? So when you do an action, you do that action and that's it. So in Bhagavad Gita, right? So in India, you know, there is a caste system. So there are Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Shudras, and Vaishyas, right? So Brahmanas, they are looking after the religious aspect of it, the ayers in the temples. So this whole spiritual domain, they are looking after. Kshatriyas, they are doing the kingship, they are doing the ruling, administration, war, and everything. Shudras and others, Vaishyas, so they have their own work to be done. So in Bhagavad Gita, when Arjuna and Krishna went ahead with the army and Duryodhana and his relatives, along with Dhritarashtra, when they came to the Kurukshetra, the battlefield, so this is where Arjuna felt, oh my God, I am trembling, I can't fight because I am fighting my own blood, my own relatives. I am going to kill my own brothers. Now I don't know what to do, right? So Krishna's answer is, look here, you are a Kshatriya and there's a lot of mishappening has happened right now. So much of unrighteous things have happening now, right? So this has to be stopped, and that is your duty as a Kshatriya. So you fight the battle. That's it. Whole Bhagavad Gita is actually talking about this whole concept, the Karma Yoga, especially chapter 2 or 3, right? There is a particular chapter dedicated for Karma Yoga, right? So your action has to be done in a withdrawn manner. You should not attach strings to it, right? So that is another aspect of it. Number one is the physical senses, what you get. Number two is the mental part of it. Number three is your action. Number four is your whole living itself. So altogether, your whole living itself with what you talk and all of these things has to be in a withdrawn manner. It has to be a prati aharaha. You don't eat to enjoy. You eat for survival. That's it. So that is what is meant as pratyahara. So pratyahara is not easy, right? So sometimes let's think, right? When you are giving an almsgiving to a temple, what do you want to do? You have so much of requirements to fulfill, right? So you want to either impress the monks or you want to impress the crowd. For that, you will color wash the house and you will do this, that, and the other, and all these things, right? Madness, right? It purely madness. By trying to do a almsgiving, you are basically making a party out of it. Not a party, I don't know, madness, right? So even let's say now you are going to help somebody to do something. So what you are wearing, what your watch is, what your hat is, what your sunglasses is, what your mobile phone is, doesn't matter. If you want to help somebody, if you want to help an adult, you go and help the adult. That's it, right? Don't try to put your trademark over there, right? So that is what you mean as karma yoga. Do what you are supposed to do. But normally in our life as people, we do just 5% or 0.5%. Everything else is the advertisement, the whole ha-ho and everything around it. We just don't do the core thing what we are supposed to do. And we are so unable to keep our mouth shut after doing that. Right? So much of advertising, because since I did it, since I'm doing this class, everybody else in this world should know that I'm doing this class. If I know how to do an asana, I post it all over the social media so that everybody knows that, you know, I can do that asana. What is the most critical thing is to make your temple stronger. You work on that. Everything else is nonsense, right? So that is what is meant as pratyahara, right? We'll go to the next sutra. Tata parama vasyata indriyanam, right? Meaning the effects of pratyahara is felt when the senses are mastered and the mind is ripe and avid for its spiritual quest. Pratyahara, you will understand. You will understand pratyahara, how can I say? When you give something to somebody, in next moment, if you forget what is the cost of it, that is pratyahara. That is a quality of pratyahara, or that is a symptom that you are reaching somewhere, right? But it's not like that normally in relationships, right? So if you give something to somebody 18 months back, 6 hours and 12 minutes before, your partner might remember it. 18 months back, 6 hours, 18 minutes ago, you gave this to this person, looking at the eyes of that person, wearing this cloth and this. Imagine how much of mental space that you are utilizing, and for what? You are building krodha. Inside you are building krodha. You remember that means you don't like to give that. You were not happy about giving that. Right? So you have some klesha, or you was too much happy, and you have that happiness or that thing attached inside you. That's why you keep remembering. So if you are a person, if you forget, I gave you this much, I spent this much on this person. So one person came to me asking, let's say 10 books. You give the books. So next day, if you feel like, if you don't remember that, when you wake up in the morning, you are in a better place, right? You are in a better place. So whatever the action that you do towards somebody, first of all, make that action a righteous action, right? Make that action an action for the betterment of the world or the universe, right? And forget that you did it. You don't have to brag about it. You don't have to keep thinking about it, right? That is totally irrelevant. If you made somebody happy, so you enjoy that moment and you move ahead. Don't make one person happy for your whole lifetime and then keep bragging about it in your entire lifetime. You make a person happy, you move on, right? So that's what the pratyahara is all about. Then actually, you don't have strings in your head. You don't have krodha. You don't have attachments in your head. You are a free person. Right? A free person only can sit down in meditation, and when you close your eyes, you are fully in concentration with your breath. Right? Otherwise, at the moment a thought comes, your breath concentration goes away, breath becomes again irregular, you get deviated with the thought flow, and then when you come back, your pranayama is gone. Start again from the beginning. Right? So that's what Patanjali is trying to explain this in chapter 2. So all what we learned in chapter 2 are called Bahiranga Yoga. Right? So Patanjali is this Ashtanga Yoga. Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi. These 3 things are internal work. Last 3 are going to be internal work, right? All these 5 you can practice externally, right? Can you stop lying? If there's a person who is saying, I can't stop lying, that means you have a serious problem with yourself. At least write down a board. Do not lie today. Only. Right? Put only as well. Right? Do not lie today. So every time when you feel like lying, the mind will struck. Take a pause and say, you're going to lie. If you don't want to reveal something, at least just stay shut up. That's the first thing. If you don't want to lie, keep silent. After some time, learn to talk the truth. Nothing to be ashamed of talking the truth, even how bad it feels, even how hard it is, it's okay. Because you are free. When you close your eyes, nothing for you to keep on inventorizing and remember that I lied to this person like this. So the next moment I meet him, let's cover it with another lie. Let's sustain the lie like this. Sustainable lies. Sustainable lies will kill you very fast. Right? So those are very important things, right? So these 5 concepts you need to start doing right now, right? Select one niyama, select one yama, right? At least the cleanliness, right? The cleanliness part of it. Keep the body clean. Always keep the body clean. Meaning, I'm not saying if you walk out, sweats, oh, come and wash. No, not like that, right? Keep the body clean, right? Feel your light, right? So go to the washroom on time. Make sure excretion happens very well, right? So you don't carry a bag of unwanted things all over the places that you go. Practice this. When you go to a temple, go with empty stomach. How to go to the temple with empty stomach? Then when you see all these good food in front of the statue, you feel hungry? No, right? You should. So in Hinduism, there is a concept, right? Brahmins practice this, right? They don't go to a temple after a meal. They go to the temple early in the morning. When you wake up, do your bathroom schedules, and then you go to the temple empty stomach, because you don't take garbage to a temple, right? Same like with our senses, we don't bring garbage to our inside. This is the temple. We don't bring garbage to our temple, right? Is it clear, guys? Are you following what I'm saying? Yeah, good. So I will stop sharing this, right? So it's important that all of you start practicing these right now. Life can end up at any point, right? So enjoy the video. How is it? Right? So it's important. So there is a woman now, so woman being cut into pieces and embalmed and taken the stuff out and all that. So I didn't want to include it here because we are not ready for that yet, right? That is much worse than that, right? So the message is, it's very clear, right? Whatever you think you are just a piece of life in this world. You, I, everybody, even a tree, right? Whatever living is just a piece of life out of the whole bigger whole life system, right? Nothing different than that. But then, based on our samskaras, we have been come to a particular body based on our past or the closing stock of samskara, right? Based on how much of greediness we had, how much of knowledge we had, what are the things that we like, what are the things that we desired. Based on that, we have come to this particular human body. And this body, at any point like this, it will go away. It will go away like that, right? Don't think about the hearse that your body is being delivered to, because you are not living at that moment. Right? Is it a Volvo? Is it a Benz? Is whatever that hearse, the body, the carrier of a dead body? Don't think about that, because by that time you are already dead. Right? Don't collect money to invest in that, because you're dead, you're gone. You have already started another journey of samskara based on what you have been doing in this life, right? So there are enough and more religious texts, spiritual texts, Yoga Sutra, this, that, and the other. So that's where in that video, at one point it appears, where your body came, in the mother's womb or the God gave it, that is also irrelevant. If you think that, I don't like this particular religion, I don't obey this particular thing, that religion feels like stupid, right? I'm telling you, you and I do not have time to explore that. Right? We don't have millions of years in this planet to explore what are the right things, what are the wrong things. If there is a particular scripture given, this will help you to go to Samadhi or moksha or nirvana. Right now, right here, start practicing that. Right? That will only help you just before your body becomes somebody else's job, just to cut, chop, package it, and put it and get some money, right? And the process is very simple. How much we maintain our body, the beautiful skin, the beautiful hair, the rebonded, relined, straightened, blah, blah, blah hair, whatever the hair that you have been, having, or whatever the investments that you have made to your hair, to your skin, to your whole body, the size of the body, which you are worried it is too much, too big, too small, all these things, it will just go out like this in a split second, right? So you are given a gift like Yoga Sutra. Yoga Sutra is one way to go for there. Right? It's a very logical sense. So Patanjali and Lord Buddha are considered as two of the most logical, or the people who are giving a logical step to go, right? So do this. First Pansil, Atasil, Dasasil, this, right? So in Patanjali says, go for Yama. At least focus on that. Then Niyama, then Asana, Pranayama. Build the temple, build the foundation, put the bricklayer, put the walls, make the airflow right, and then don't expect anything out of this, right? And use it only for meditation, concentration. Build up your consciousness, and then connect with the nature. Right? Look at, so one of you guys, I don't know whether you are there, right? So one of you called me and asked, so what is the difference between, when you say ourself and the nature are the same, what do you mean? Right? What I mean is, you take a tree, you go and scold in front of that tree, you go and cut a branch in that tree, or you go and hit that tree, you pluck all the leaves out of that tree, or you just chop it and use it to make a roof in your house. The tree will not say anything. Tree will not even accumulate a samskara, right? But look at us. Can we be like that? No. You don't need somebody else to just come and say words in front of you. You can just see that, two people are scolding each other, whom you don't even know, and still get mad for that. Still generate krodha, still generate dvesha out of your mind, right? So try to become like a tree. When you become like a tree, one day you will be able to talk to a tree, you will be able to talk to the wind, you will be able to talk to the soil, you will be able to talk to the water, right? Even if you get into the water with so much of crocodiles in it, nothing will happen to you, right? Even if you walk in the forest with so much of elephants, if you are connected to the nature, nothing will happen to you, right? Even a ferocious dog is very playful, closer to a small child, because the child's vibration is pure, right? Child's head, child's rays are not filled with garbage like grown-up humans, right? What is good and bad is not there, right? So right now we are at a stage where we need to go back. It's a U-turn that we have to take, right? So what I'm saying is, old age, don't wait for that. Don't wait for the retirement to go to the temple. Don't wait for all these things. You have to start right now. Influence somebody else as well. And don't expect anything in return when you influence somebody, when you teach somebody, when you share something. Don't expect anything in return. If somebody just come and scold in front of you one day, be okay with it. That is withdrawal of senses. Test it. Those are tests. When somebody come and scold in front of you, you make a small test. My heartbeat has risen. Do I feel like killing that fellow, punching that bugger, and all this kind of thing? If that is there, a lot of homework to be done. Learning theory, knowledge is useless. Having a PhD in something and all these things are useless. The important thing is wisdom. Whatever you have learned, are you internalizing? The spiritual knowledge, see, in this world, for you to survive, you have to have knowledge, right? So we gather that knowledge. Over a lot of time, we gather, and we have that knowledge. Out of that knowledge, We build an environment for us. Why we build that environment is to enhance our wisdom, right? So if you don't use this knowledge as a base to enhance your wisdom, this knowledge is useless. We are just hanging around, beating around the bush, right? So it is very important, because it doesn't matter what sort of a grand life that you spend, what sort of vehicle that you use, what sort of a job that you do, who your relatives are, what your profession is, and all this kind of thing. It doesn't matter. The death can come like this, and your body will be just thrown out of a house like that, and a can will be there with formalin, and same needle which they have used since the day they started the mortuary will be injected to your body as well, right? And then formalin will be injected, your organs will be taken out, because otherwise when the body is sent to the home, it will start to stink, and the flies and everything will be there. So right now, when a fly comes, you feel like, ooh, right? So bad. No, you are living with the flies. Your body will be eaten by the flies. And by the time that your body is buried down under 6 feet, worms will be only consuming you. Not even your own relatives, your child, your mother, father, friend, husband, they will be scared to see your face after your death, right? So they will get a kattadi or somebody and then make a whole big deal out of it to get rid of this person. Such a loved person when you're living, right? It will be the same. Okay. So it's very, no. So for an example, if I die tomorrow, nobody will want to use my yoga mat even, right? Or who that person's mat, right? Nobody will want to use it. But right now, if I give something, yeah, thank you, and so it's the same with everybody, right? Nobody will want to even come to the seat, right? Nobody will want to even touch anything that I have touched, because that person is dead. His aroma is here. The ghost is there. The ghost will come and haunt us, right? Ghost is not there. The ghost is within your head, right? So it's very important that we understand, life can end at any point. It doesn't give any chance for your caste, creed, religion, your belief systems, your mother, father, your children, where you live, what country you are. It doesn't really matter. See, there are people who go to a protest and they die there. There are people who go to a safari to have fun and they die there because the elephant comes and attacks. We see this every day in, day out. You go to a pilgrimage, on the way you die due to a car accident. Happens or not? It happens. It can happen anytime. You go to a pilgrimage, you sleep while driving, and you just die. Simple as that. Same process, your body will be taken, chop, and it will be thrown out. And by that time, right now, with the current prices, you can't even buy a proper coffin. Even the proper coffins are made out of bad wood, right? And it's just coated, okay? So once you're dead, nothing matters. And the only certainty in this world is your death. You are being born, and for sure you are going to die. You have to manage the in-between, right? How you are going to manage the in-between is up to you. So there is so much of things. Patanjali Yoga Sutra is there. Hinduism is there. Buddhism is there. Even Jainism, Islam, Bhagavad Gita. All these things are there. Babaji is there. Who else is there, right? Everybody is there, right? The scriptures are there. Up to you to make a choice, right? So these 5 things are external things that we can practice right now. Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, right? So without doing these 5, don't even think of looking into the 6th one. Internal things, how you are going to go fully internal if you are not even giving a thought about these 5. On a day, practice 1 hour with Yama and Niyama. I will not kill within this 1 hour. I will not steal anything within this 1 hour. I will stay clean within this 1 hour. I will practice my yoga within this hour, right? So all these things, right? So sometimes when you're doing a yoga asana, people, they don't want to see, they don't want let others see that you fail. So when you feel like you're going to fail in the asana, they switch off the camera. Whom are you kidding? Are you cheating me, or are you trying to, I'm not bothered. Most of the time when I'm teaching yoga asana, I'm using my camera to adjust my posture. Here and there, I adjust your posture as well. Right? So who are you kidding? Right? When you are learning that, you learn it. Nothing to hide behind a camera, nothing to hide behind a screen. Right? So, be okay with it. If your environment looks bad, so that bad definition is with other people. You don't have a problem, right? So it's very important that we don't get carried away with all this nonsense running in our head. Everything that you have created is in your head. So for an example, I take Janthan's room right now. How I see his room is not the way everybody else in this video is seeing, right? So my conclusion about his room is totally different from everybody else's, including him, right? So then what to compare? What does it matter what other people think, right? If you tell the truth, if somebody judge you as a bad person, that's his problem. If you say, I will not kill the mosquito, then people will say, oh, okay, this person is going for liberation, so he has started the initial step by not killing the mosquitoes. Let them say it, right? And if you have properly withdrawn your hearing, you will not be bothered about anybody else, what they tell about you, right? So it's really important. We have completed 2 chapters, and completing 2 chapters in Patanjali Yoga Sutra is not like an academic degree, right? It's a whole spiritual, logical steps are given, right? So it's just a matter of doing it, even knowing this is enough for you in this life. You don't need to go to 3rd stage and 4th stage. Do only the Bahiranga Yoga. That itself is enough, right? You don't have to go to the other one. Forget chapter 1 as well. Only chapter 2. 5 things. Try to do it. On a day, 1 hour, try to be in this discipline. You will feel much better, right? But don't wait till you want to say a lie. You hold the lie till this hour ends, and then you go and give the lie, right? Not like that, right? Try to practice little by little, because the death will come at any point. So another message that I want to give you is, whoever the teachers that teach you pranayama, yoga asana, and all of it, let's say if they die tomorrow with a heart attack, right? Don't come to a judgment saying, oh, this person, he taught us all this yoga, but he just died because of a heart attack. He must have not done his yoga very well, so we should not follow him, right? Do not come to that judgment. You take whatever you can get out of that teacher. You continue with your own journey. His journey, where it stopped and where you are going, it's not connected, right? Take it and go. That's the most important thing. You pick it and go. So tomorrow, let's say if I die, don't think, oh, he taught that if you do pranayama you will live for 120 years. That's what he said, but he just died in this age, right? So he has bluffed. So all what he has taught is wrong, right? So we should find a different person. No. You take whatever you can, whatever you grab into, logically understand it. So Patanjali Yoga Sutra is not something that I tell. Patanjali says it, right? So I'm just trying to explain it with the maximum I can, right? Take it, you go ahead with your life, you continue, right? So that's why even Lord Buddha, all these spiritual leaders, so they collect a little bit from one person, then they go to another person, collect. It's up to you, it's your journey. Don't restrict yourself to any religion, any book or anything. Be very open. But one way to get rid of this whole samsaric crazy cycle is yoga. So for that, here is a manual given with very logical steps. If you do it, you will get there. right? And these texts are being preserved or sustained for such a long time because it had worked for people. Otherwise, it would not survive. It wouldn't have survived, right? So it's very important, guys. So we have completed 2 chapters, and next couple of days, I will come up with certain stories to emphasize certain facts to you, which is very, very important that you internalize it properly. And then let's continue like that, right? So we'll stop the session from here, and I'll upload this video. I don't know whether I should upload or not because I don't know. So, but remember that it's the reality, right? So, even though you eat with forks, silver forks, and the spoon and everything, you will be cut with a knife with corroded this thing. It doesn't matter. Your once your prana vayu goes out, it doesn't matter. It's just another garbage which people want to just throw it out. And even if you say, I came to life again, nobody wants you live. Right? Once you are dead, nobody wants you live back, including your family, including your children. Right? So understand that reality. We are in a journey. There is a certain body that we have come to based on our samskaras in a particular environment, in a particular time, to a particular family, to a particular caste, to a particular religion we have born. Get the maximum out of it and reduce your closing stock. There is a method for that. Please go for it. Right? So we'll end the session from here. You can ask any question, and I will close the session also along with the video, let it play. So if you want, I'll share that with you. Watch it every day morning, right? If you want to make it more severe, I have a woman being dead, cut, everything. So everything what a woman, like, people have this whole hallucination about men and women, so beautiful, this, that, and then. No, let me show you how to cut it in raw form. Nothing is inside that, right? So no point. If you want, I'll edit that part as well and then share the video with you. Okay, it's important. Okay, right. So hands in Anjali Mudra. We will close the session. Take a deep inhale. Deep inhale. Inhale to the maximum you can. Exhale, maximum. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Shanti Shanti Shanti. Right. Stop the recording.